leaders in organizations feel that communications people think of things out of reach, very expensive, very costly to the company's budget. And to shock you, most communications departments have no budget. Anytime I get into a place, I'm always thinking, what can this place do better? And I think that's how you build value. No, I don't think. I know that that's how you build value as a communications person. When you get hired into an organization and this organization has no community, how do you build their community? Set up WhatsApp channels. That's a good question.
On this episode of the Salvage Podcast, we host Cynthia Chofuna. Cynthia sits at the sweet spot where development communications, ecosystem building, and women's economic empowerment meet. Her leadership across several organizations, and now as the founder of Flourish Hub, gives her deep practical examples of how storytelling and strategic engagement unlock funding, shift policy, and strengthen community outcomes. Welcome to yet another edition of the Salvage Podcast, Cynthia Chofuna.
Thank you so much, Edwina, for having me. While you read that, it did feel like a love letter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How did you feel when you saw it?
I messaged you and told you that this does feel like a love letter. Mm-hmm. And also because this is my first ever podcast appearance as a guest. Yeah. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for honoring us. It's an honor that Salvage Podcast hosts Cynthia Chofuna. And I have to say, when I thought about this episode, I wanted a twist. I needed some female energy.
Okay.
And yet very fierce and very confident and mentorship. Listen, the people watching are ready for you.
Okay.
I don't know if... So as we go into it, Cynthia, tell me about you.
Wow, that's a beautiful question. Cynthia is a very energetic, fun-loving person. But Cynthia is also a mother.
Nice.
She's a wife. She's a scholar. She loves storytelling. She loves reading. Cynthia, I think I embody all these dreams since childhood. And I've made sure, and in my daily walk in life, I make sure to fulfill them. So, Cynthia is the embodiment of dreams.
Clearly. And I can't wait for us to have to talk about it all. So tell me about you growing up. Where were you raised? Where did you go to school? Where did you study?
That's amazing. I was raised by my mother. She was a very present parent in my life. Of course, I cannot speak about her without the hidden support of my fathers. I had two fathers present in my life. So they were in the background doing all these things, but my mother was the present mother. Up until my adulthood, she passed, in 2022. Up until my adulthood, I used to call my mom every day, So that's the kind of bond we had grown into. But she raised me to be a dreamer. I remember in my childhood, she used to nurture me with the Princess Diaries storybooks. So I had a copy. I'm still looking for those books because I don't know, it's a shade of green that I've not yet seen anywhere, but it's a glimmer green. So she used to buy me these books and she used to encourage me to read every day. And then she used to make sure that we had all these trips, all these excursions. I want to believe that she nurtured my adventurous spirit from way back. And I could say the same for my sisters as well. So I was raised with a very present mother, and I aspire to be the same.
That's really interesting. A mother teaching a daughter how to read. That's deep.
And why she did is because she majored in literature. She loved literature. So reading has always been a culture.
May I remember ask what her occupation was?
She was, she used to work for UEB back in the days. So she used to be a data cleric, but she used to have moments where she reads books. And everyone in the house had to read a book.
So she was a reader.
Yeah, she was a reader. And she encouraged me to take literature. I only did literature in O-level. But I had to, O-level, but I had to drop it for HSC because I did sciences. I'm a science girl.
Oh, listen.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Sciences, BCM, economy, home economics.
So which schools did you go to? What did you study? So you talked about doing literature in O-level.
Yeah.
And then you do sciences.
Yeah.
And then you go to university.
Yeah.
What did you study?
Okay, first question, what schools did I go to? I think I went to some of the best schools in the land. They nurtured who I am as a person, my confidence. In my primary, I went to Victoria Nell School and then Buckley High School. Victoria Nell in Jinja, Buckley High School in Iganga, and then moved on to Bugema briefly, and then joined Mpoma up until my HSC, end of Form 6, Mpoma Girls School. Right after Mpoma, I went to Chambogo University, where I pursued human rehabilitation, community-based rehabilitation, majored in maternal health, child disability studies, maternal and child health and disability studies. Yeah, so what were ideally taught in that course was to take care of persons with disability. So I also have a part of me that loves people with disabilities. I've actually started a campaign for persons with hearing impairment, deaf people who use sign language. I just feel that it should be adopted as a national language. Yeah. So when I went to, that's what I did at university. I did not do communications, but I did pursue community-based rehabilitation at Chambogo University.
So what led you into pursuing that course?
That's a good question. I really wanted dentistry. I did BCM, home economics. I wanted dentistry, didn't get dentistry. My second option was food nutrition. I didn't get it. They were my first two options. And then I just fill out a random course on, you know how those, I don't know what those forms are.
I think they're called Punjab forms.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just fill out and guess what? When the names are released, the random course at Chambogo University is the course I got. Like, what the heck?
Always.
Yeah, so I then now had to pursue, that's why I pursued. I pursued it because it's what I got.
It's what but in pursuing, in that combination, BCN,
yes,
home
economics, yes.
Okay, so what were you dreaming? What did you want to be from that?
I wanted to be a dentist.
Oh yeah.
My whole life I wanted. Okay, I've had different dreams. I've dreamt of being a pilot, and then, but I know what stuck with me is I wanted to be a dentist while pursuing that course.
Do you know why?
I don't even have a reason why. I just felt like it's a cool occupation, dentistry. I'm a dentist, and right now that I know the you get the aesthetics that go into teeth management, I'm like, ew.
Oh really?
Yeah. But I also I love food so much. Okay. At home I spend a lot of time watching Food Network. What other channel is that? They show those cook-offs. I love it so much. Also exploring cuisines. I may not cook them, but I love watching them.
Oh, yeah. Do you cook at home?
I do cook at home. Not very often.
Oh, yeah. But you do.
I do. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So Cynthia, you go to campus and then you're studying this science course.
Yeah.
How do you get into communications?
I've always had a side of me that can sell.
Okay.
I can sell you anything. In primary 4, while at Buckley High School, I had a teacher called Mr. Tigalina. He was a maths teacher. And you know how at the end of the term, they used to have these books that they sold parents. So Mr. Tigalina used to invite me to sell these books with him. And I used to be his favorite because he knew with Cynthia selling, these books would be done in, and there were 20,000. That was about when? 2000, if I say years.
We leave the years.
But like 2004, 5.
Yes, the early years.
The early years, yeah.
Yes.
20,000 was what the parent had to pay for a book. And this teacher knew that if I get Cynthia here, these books will be sold. I don't know what I used to tell the parents, but he told me, you will grow up and pursue marketing. I remember that sentence as clear as he said it that day. When I navigated through life, went through education, it's not that I was pursuing communications. Not at all.
It pursued you.
It did. It did pursue me. Yeah, so it's until I joined Reach a Hand with Humphrey Nabimanya. I joined Reach a Hand in my Form 6 vacation. I saw this call on Twitter. And I wanted to apply for it. It was a peer educators call. And I applied to join the Reach a Hand Peer Educators Academy. Very good program. It nurtured me, taught me about life skills. For all my years, I had never sat through those reproduction classes. And that's what they taught me there. But the team back then at Reach a Hand saw that I could do so well in communication. So they placed me in the communications department. Just nurturing me under the guise of Batambuze Wise. I don't know if you know him. Yeah, so he was my mentor during that time. And he guided me on what it takes to do communication. That time it was really just digital communications, run social media, you get posts. When there's an event, you go and you get posts to make sure that there's traction and reach of that particular event. At that time, Humphrey Nabimanya gets an opportunity from Next Media, back then NBS, to recruit 3 young people. And I was, myself and 2 other colleagues were recommended to go to NBS. So while at NBS, I grew through the ranks. Started out as just social media, and then I was given roles to voice the news, and then I was in the field holding camera, and then by the way, I've grown through the ranks. Yeah. By the time I left NBS, I was at public relations level. I'd been nurtured by Pamela Adong, by Danze Edwin, by all of the people that we worked with there. And there was opportunity back then. I don't know what it's looking like now, but there was opportunity back then. I was everywhere. I was available. If someone needed to edit news, I didn't know what editing news those short clips that they put. Yes. But I was there to learn and just help out whenever I could. If they needed a voice artist, I was there. And my voice was on TV. And then before I knew it, they gave me a TV show. At Aish. Guys, by the way, I'm a celeb.
Which TV show?
It was a youth program. Yeah. And I was on it with MC Olo, Victoria Bagaya. Yes.
So MC Olo has been around for some time.
For a long time, yes. So I did this show very diligently. And I also served at NBS until I felt that my season there had come to a close. Yeah, so from NBS, I now got poached by a telecommunications brand.
Okay.
They were looking for a brand manager, and they reached out to me. They had seen me. I was very vocal, and so I was given the role. And I was in charge of making sure that this brand gains visibility across Uganda. And yet they had a sister brand that was already in the market and doing so well. So I built that brand from ground up. All the campaigns you can think of, I made sure to do them. If it's to get people a band marching from whatever place in town all the way to Lugogo and back, I got them. If it's to make sure it's to run adverts, write briefs, I did all that. And from that brand, I also moved on to an NGO that supports young people living with HIV as a public relations officer. And also right there, I learned how development communications actually come into play. But now the experience and my expertise by that time had grown. I was not at the level that I was at Reach a Hand. This time I was being given roles that suit someone who has grown into this profession. From that organization, I moved on to an innovation hub, and then another innovation hub that have now groomed me to become the founder of Flourish Hub that I am today.
Yeah. And before we get into Flourish Hub, which is something that I'd like us to talk about. So in your journey, it looks like you started in at Reach a Hand, which is supporting young people, really majoring into that. And then you get into a corporate industry, but you still fit in. How did you do that?
And this is what I always say about communications. Communications is very versatile. You just need to learn the groundwork, the foundation of how things work. Yeah. When I came from development communications, I'd been nurtured in how to communicate, in how, these are ideally the basics: communicate? How do you speak to people? How do you speak in front of a camera? Communicating on social media. What are you saying? By that time, we didn't even have the 140 character. You get, we had 28
Limit,
characters.
yeah.
Yes. How do you communicate in 28 characters and get the point forward? How do you speak to stakeholders in meetings? How do you persuade and sell and also negotiate? So the basics that I learned here in my life skills training at Reach a Hand enabled me to get into corporate communications. I honestly want to believe that as people set out in the communications field, as long as you understand the basics and the foundation, all you need to learn now is the lingo. What lingo is used in this industry? You get, so that now you can communicate relevantly. But the basics will always be the same. Yeah.
So what are you doing at Flourish Hub now?
Flourish Hub is my baby.
I know.
Okay, Flourish Hub is powering the next generation of women entrepreneurs. We are ensuring that women entrepreneurs that are considered risky, unattractive, get into the ecosystem, access market linkages and finances to grow and scale their businesses. So for now, we are working with the tier that is very unattractive, women in markets. Ideally, let me tell you, Edwina, I've met a woman as young as 23 years old. But when you look at her, you might think she's 40.
Yeah. I believe you.
Yeah. So situations and where people come from and what people have gone through make them older. And so because they are older, we tend to push them out of our programs. Because they don't speak English, we push them out of our programs. Now, for me, my mandate is to make sure that these women are seen, these women are appreciated, because they labor so much. And you will find that majority of the households are sustained by these women. Majority of children going to school come from households headed by these women. So how do we support them to get into this ecosystem? They don't speak English. They're not as eloquent as you and I, but they understand how to run and manage a business. How can we equip them for better? Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Thank you.
And we usually, of course, these terms keep changing.
Yeah.
One day we are saying marginalized and saying no, we're not marginalized.
Yeah.
Next time we're saying underserved, and then again they'll tell us, no, what do you mean underserved? Do you have proof of that?
Yeah.
You are into this space of empowering and supporting other women, young people in their entrepreneurship journeys. How are you incorporating strategic communications? Tell me how you are using it in this journey.
Yeah. I love this question a lot. And let me tell you, the need for me to pivot into now business, supporting women, empowering women, has been guided by my experience in communications, and it has made work easy for me. Yeah. So I know what terms not to use. You get, initially we're using beneficiaries, now partners hate that.
Yes.
And you can honestly see it because these are people participating in our program.
They're contributing.
They're contributing. I recognize that while I offer support and training, I should still ensure to maintain the dignity of the person.
And you're learning as well.
Exactly.
You're learning from them.
Exactly. So, how do you speak to people just because they're not at the same level with you? Yeah, I honestly think my background in communications and my experience thereof, because it has guided how I communicate, how we run our programs, how we build our curricula, how we support these women entrepreneurs. Yes.
Okay, Cynthia. So there's different people watching out there. We have communicators who are just starting out on their journey as development communicators. We also have the people employing these development communicators.
Yeah.
You've told us about how the versatility working in a development comm space and then going into corporate. Can you share with us one case study that you remember throughout your journey that really, really, maybe you learned a lot from, but also was pivotal to your, now moving forward and getting into these big roles? Yeah.
Can I just, is one possible?
I mean, sure.
Yeah. This is for honestly the person that is getting into communications, yeah? And for the person that's already in communications, one of the things that you will have to prepare for is a crisis. They don't come often, but when they come, they hit so bad. So I used a picture of a participant that didn't get to participate in the program.
No, explain that.
Okay, so the program used to disburse financing, and we usually have metrics that entrepreneurs have to tick off to get into the program to receive the actual financing. Now, this entrepreneur was dropped. I was not privy to that. Yeah. And so I went and used their picture.
You had already taken their picture.
Yes.
At inception.
Woo-loo-loo. You know, inception, how you
Yes.
tell the entrepreneur story. You
Trying to prepare for the journey.
Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
And then the entrepreneur sends, through their lawyer, sends a big envelope. And it had proof of the post going up, what we had said, why they were dropped off. And by the way, that case was still in what can I call it? Like judiciary. It was still being debated because the entrepreneur was arguing that it's not right that they got off the program. Hey, you get, and now for me, I've already put it. Hey, you get, you're using we actually used her photo for to promote a different program.
Oh, yeah. So it's one of those things of we have ABCD programs, but then this one works.
This photo works. This photo will speak to the young women.
Yes.
You get the demographic you're trying to target. Oh my God. And they were asking for 200 million.
Who gave them the advice?
They were working with a lawyer, a legit law firm. Oh my, I've never been so stressed.
And this is why we shouldn't underestimate people.
Yes. And as you build brands, as a communications person, your brand is your baby. You guard it with all of your heart because there are people out there looking for the slightest opportunity to bring you down. You get? So in that moment, I didn't know what to do. You get? The first thing was pull down the post. You pull down the post. But they had already taken proof of this post going up without proof or consent. You get? And you had to now go through the different, we had at that time, what's that? Digitized registration. Oh, yeah. So you have to go through several, sheets of paper to try and find their consent form. You get? So it hurt so bad. But they were able, so the company I worked for was able to get their lawyer onto this. And so they were able to
the company's
deal with
lawyer.
it. Yeah, the company lawyer and the entrepreneur's lawyer dealt with it. So thankfully, I was able to walk back home with a salary.
Oh my God, yeah, that's really
that
scary.
month and a few other months later, you get, but that's scary. You get, I always want to, every time I speak about crisis communications, I want to think about, and before I even say this, I had supporters on the inside. As a communications person, you must always build supporters because a crisis will come and it will eat you so bad. You get? So I had internal supporters who, in the moment of a hit up, you sit down and say, okay, this is the mistake I made. How do we navigate it? You get? You're not flaring because in crisis, the CEO, everyone else is, because a company can't imagine paying 200 billion. Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Now people want to know, how did this thing end? Did they pay?
No. We the lawyers resolved it. We were able to find that this person gave us their consent, thankfully. And that's why for our communications person, anytime you're going to engage anyone, have them sign a consent form because they can turn on you real quick. You get? They will see that you've now thrived, made money, and now are saying, okay, I want 50% of the money you're making.
Right there, Cynthia. You know, in many of these development organizations, usually people get consent for a particular program. And sometimes it's actually in an article somewhere in that form that for program ABCD. But you know that sometimes you want to use this photo for another program. So what do we do in that case? What do you advise people to do? Okay.
So one of the things that I've learned to do as a communications personnel is to have disclaimers on every form. Even if you're just walking in here, at the door there, entrance, in the registration book, there's a disclaimer. Signing on this book in this book gives us permission to use your photo across our different programs. It works so well, and it saves you a lot of energy. It saves you a lot of money. It saves you a lot of back and forth and all of those things. Yeah. If you do not put those disclaimers and you just say one program, you're going to hire the next communications person and they'll falter. They will lead you down the same drain that you once survived. Okay. So it's important to have these disclaimers anywhere. That's why you've seen events. You'll go for blankets and wine. They're now on posters, Rust and Rhyme, all those brands. And they will, on the poster, they will say, paying for a ticket gives us permission to, because people had started. So I didn't give you permission to take my photo, even if I attended. You get, now events promoters have started paying to attend this event, gives us permission to take and use your picture anywhere.
So Cynthia, we first met in the Mastercard Foundation community of practice. Those meetings that we used to have, and I was so amazed. You're very innovative, and I have to mention Cynthia spearheaded the first ever newsletter for the COP. Round of applause. And I love how beautifully you come up with these ideas. First of all, so fast. And then how you actually take the time to bring them to life. How do you do that? Take us through the design process of these innovative ideas and how you drive them to execution. How do you do that?
To decision makers watching, some of the traits that you should look out for when you're hiring a communications person is how fast they think, how fast they're able to execute, but also how innovative they are.
Innovation.
But while you hire someone with those qualities, please do not frustrate their creative process. Yeah, I've worked for organizations in the past where, approval processes take a lot of time. Yeah. But I don't know any communications person that is not creative. We've grown up with all these dreams.
It's a DNA.
Yeah, it's in the DNA. I don't know any communications person that's not creative, that's not the life of the party. They don't even have to put alcohol in their body. They just, they just flow with the vibe. So how do I come up with all these design, processes? I don't know. I think I'm supernatural. I honestly believe I'm supernatural. I'm not even playing about it. You could tell me, I could listen to a song without a video, and in my mind, the video will already play out. You get what I mean?
Been there, yes.
I could read, I could put together a campaign that this is what we envision to achieve. Say, for example, we want to reach out to young people, and in my mind I already have a visual process of, you get the end-to-end of how I want to shoot it, how I want it to,
you'll shoot it,
where I will shoot it from, what kind of character will be used, what kind of storyline. It's all in my mind. That's why I think I'm supernatural. But now that you're nodding, that means we are two supernatural people here. Yeah. So how you come up with things is, anytime I get into a place, I'm always thinking, what can this place do better? And I think that's how you build value. No, I don't think. I know that that's how you build value as a communications person. When you get hired into an organization and this organization has no community, how do you build their community? Set up WhatsApp channels. Create a monthly or quarterly newsletter that you send out to your partners and your participants, or entrepreneurs. Create an end-of-year annual impact report that speaks about your organization's impact, okay? Always, as a communications person, how you design is looking for a gap that you can fill. And let me tell you, it does not come easy. First and foremost, one, people will always assume that they can do your job, or even better.
Or that they know what you do.
And then two, people will always feel like, for you, you're always thinking of things that are out of reach, expensive.
Oh my God. Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Re-emphasize
They
it.
feel that leaders in organizations feel that communications people think of things out of reach, very expensive, very costly to the company's budget. And to shock you, most communications departments have no budget at all, sadly. And yet they expect you to pull the ropes to make sure visibility. Get the media here. Get what the media is going to on the call.
Call your contact.
Call your contacts on the call. The media. Lately, media people are bold. They'll ask you facilitation one maker. For people who don't understand Uganda, how much is facilitation? How much is my transport stipend?
Speaking of which, before you continue, should journalists be facilitated or not?
Journalists should be facilitated. And I say this because there are journalists that have been my friends. We started out together in this trade. While I started out in communications, they were starting out at these different media houses. They've grown through the ranks, okay? You cannot call someone off of their desk and honestly don't facilitate. The bare minimum should be transport. And the least amount that you can do is like a 50K. 50K is good. It's good for transport because you're feeding them, you're giving them tea, breakfast, whatever.
And that's regardless of whether the story airs or not.
That regardless or not should not. When you come to, I've invited you for business. I've not called you from your work to just come and witness me in action.
Yes.
I want that you air my story. That you put me actually page 2 and 3 of your
At
dailies.
50K. At 50K.
Okay. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And I say 50K because, man, the companies I've worked for have squeezed me also. Like, there is no budget. But 50K is the bare minimum. I know companies that give 300K, 1 million, that have journalists on retainer, yeah? And you get, when they have a trip to up country or even out of the country, they carry these journalists along and pay for all their expenses. But if you're working for a company that is still uptight with finances, you're not going to tell them to give you 300,000 for just a single journalist. So where can you start? And seek to build relationship. The reason as to why a journalist is not running your story because you gave them 50K is because you've not built a relationship with him. You get, do not just find a journalist and say, no, build a relationship with this person and they will be in your favor. Anything that's up that you think is lucrative for them, call them up. You have a media training for because media trainings usually have per DMs for journalists. Call them up. That per DM of 500,000 they will always feel indebted to you and will do different favors for you.
Invite them for opportunities where they're also going to gain.
Yes.
For example, in your work plan, which I am so sorry may be unfunded, but find a way. Invite them. Create those events where they're also going to benefit.
Yeah.
You're not benefiting from them, but you're also giving back. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and I also know there are companies that give Christmas packages, have Christmas vouchers. Always single out a journalist or two that you can give. A voucher goes a long way. You get some of these, I've seen some of these journalists say, don't look their very best. Perhaps they're not paid. You get so well. I know I'm shaking a table. Perhaps they're not paid so well. They turn up looking shabby. Some of them turn up looking shabby. Shoes on the whatever like this. You get. So if you can secure a voucher of 100,000 for them at the end of the year, or you're sending out these very scrumptious hampers, think of a journalist or two. You get, it goes a long way. Beyond them showing up for your event, these people also have families to feed, children to take care of, and to educate.
Yeah. So Cynthia, you were still talking to the leaders of these organizations, and they are not being budgets for communications people, and yet there's a lot expected from them.
Yeah.
Please talk to that comms person. How can they navigate that? No budget, sometimes no tools. Speak on that. Please talk about that.
Okay. In the instance where there is no budget, but you have to ensure your company stays on the top. Okay, first go back and do a reflection. Befriend your programs person. because programs person are usually the budget holders or budget planners. Yeah, for any program there is always a communications budget for people who understand the value of communications. I esteem the Mastercard Foundation country director so much, Mr. Adrian Bukenya, at the COP. Remember the community of, by the way, Simba Wakati, first plant a stick there.
Yes.
Yeah, like as a communications person who is looking for where to work, I would suggest that you look for an organization that has a program that's supported by the Mastercard Foundation.
Listen, I was about to tell people that's a hack there.
Yeah.
That's a hack right there.
You know why?
Yeah.
The Mastercard Foundation has the biggest community of practice
In the country.
in Uganda. And this community of practice, and they have several, by the way, for different industries. I've met their M&E community of practice.
Oh, they do?
They do for different, you get.
Yeah.
But now let's focus on communications. The community of practice is a collection of all communications personnel working on their programs or the programs that the foundation, Mastercard Foundation, supports. Now just imagine being in a room full of communications people. How much learning, how much networking, and you see the thing with community of practice is they're not going to belittle you for not knowing a thing. Whether you know it or you don't, the team at the foundation organizes workshops for the thing, whether everyone in the room knows it or not. So they are like refreshers. So seek to volunteer for programs such as those, and do not shy away from being sent to those COPs. They do a lot in building you as you grow in your career. Yeah. So what was I saying before that?
We were talking about you're equipping that person, a communicator, in a department which is not well equipped financially, and you're telling them to befriend program people.
Yes. Oh yeah, program people, first and foremost, they are the heartbeats. They are the hearts of the programs. Now, communications people are the beat in that heart. You get? So you have to show your programs person that without me, this thing is not going to get the visibility that you're looking for. Okay? So, how do you do it without a budget? Make sure you update them. You run stories and tell them, you know what, if this story aired in the Daily Monitor or New Vision or Book a Day, whichever, or maybe on TV, we would go so far. We've achieved this without a budget. But just imagine if we paid for this tool, we're able to know decisions. For a program manager, they're looking to make their next decision based off of data. And as a communications person, you often have that data. Now, you do not have tools like MetaCool, Sprout Social,
Google Earth.
Yeah. You do not have those paid tools. But every social media platform has analytics. They will give you insight onto how your posts are performing, which ones are liked the most, which story
is doing
so
better
well
than another.
Yes. What kind of angle should you take for your videos? One of my key strengths is storytelling. Telling stories. I can tell a good impact story written. I can tell a good impact story on video. So now when people are able to trust you to go and document these stories, and you show them the value that these stories are bringing for their brand, even if it's you're just given 300K, they've paid for a camera crew, go and make use of that person. So have creative direction as a communications person from the get-go. Yeah. That's how you can win over the hearts of those people. Otherwise, it's hard. And there'll be moments where you feel that, this is not it for me anymore. Challenge yourself. If you feel that persists, move. I encourage people to move.
You mean
change jobs?
Organization? Yes.
Change jobs.
Go to where you're appreciated.
But I apart from the appreciation part, you never know or appreciate your growth until you move to a new job.
And Cynthia, that's a really hard thing, especially for us in the development sector.
Yes.
You work somewhere for a number of years and then you get stuck there.
Yeah.
Especially if you do a little moving. But I know some people have been in the same position for a long time. One, because they feel it's their calling. and then you say, oh, it's my calling, so let me get stuck here. Or not, you don't intend to get stuck really, but then you feel it's your calling and you want to serve there, and then you start to complain about the things that are not working. So you say one of the things is move organizations. But then, so for someone who really feels like, for example, organization A is serving their calling, by staying there, they're serving their calling. What do you have to say to the leaders in those organizations? Because yes, they will move, but what happens to the person who comes next? Are they going to suffer the same challenges?
Okay, now that's organizational politics. Honestly, it's rough and tough. And you see organizations do the mistake of running all of these HR frameworks, meetings with employees, promising we're going to change, overhaul this company, only to get feedback from employees and never change. And it later on feeds into your company culture. You will get into the ecosystem, or you'll get into spaces where brands are spoken so ill about. That company, not a good company to work for. Their boss, their line manager, their way of life in the company is not suitable. So often seek to do exit interviews and find out, why is this person leaving? How can we make the life of the next employee better? But then also, even for the post staying, make sure that you make environment psychologically safe for people. Honestly, I will speak about this, but I know it's something that it happens in companies often, ever and ever. So it goes back to the kind of leaders that we have in these companies. Yeah.
Okay. So Cynthia, you talked about storytelling and having the power to tell that's a good story. You told us you can sequence a story from start to finish.
Yeah.
And I think it's like working backwards. They tell you a goal and then you start working backwards and say, okay, I think I know how we can get there. Have you done any good story? And it changed one, just spot for us. I know you've done very many. But the one that you did that you're sure changed someone's life.
This is my bragging moment, and I will use it very well. First and foremost, Google me.
Have you?
Yes, this is
Cynthia Chofuna. Have you Googled?
Yeah.
What have you seen? LinkedIn.
Thank you, Edwina. I have done several stories, like you said. Just recently, there is this very hard entrepreneur. Everyone knows him in the ecosystem. He's hard. So I tried setting up a meeting for him to get to meet a research team. They were doing research on green businesses. And this entrepreneur kept hustling them, kept avoiding them, until I called him and I said, hello, could you please meet this team? They want to. So when we got there, this gentleman says, to be frank with you, I would never have met you, but it's because Cynthia made the call. Cynthia, in 2019, did a story for me that up until today, we use in our funding calls. I've never eaten that money. He has never given me commission. But up until now, we did the story in 2019. It's 2025. We met him about 2 months ago. 2025, he says he still uses that video in his...
It was a video?
Yes.
A documentary?
A documentary. He still uses it in his funding calls. And he has been able to raise 3 rounds of financing.
Wow.
They now have big space, a big company. They've scaled a lot.
Oh, really?
You get? But it's because of this one story.
Tell us about the story.
So they were setting out to do okay, there are honestly 2 that I'm honestly proud of. One is in the future of work. They're enabling people to access work through an online platform, but also just making sure that people get to experience the world tour, blah, 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 blah. And so we did this story. 2019, he was very upcoming, very skinny, very ugly. Now he's handsome. Money has entered the pocket.
You guys. Cynthia.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes. And now he's thriving. His company is in the US. He has been spotlighted on the US billboards, you name it. The second one that now made that particular comment is in greening. He makes plastic tiles out of
You mean compound tiles?
yes, compound tiles, pavers.
Yes, pavers, yes.
These are, what are they? The roof tilings, the tiles on the roof tiles, I don't know.
I've seen those around, I think.
Yes.
They're really neat.
From plastic.
Yes.
Yeah. And that time, no one believed in him. 2019, the green and circular economy was honestly just a dream, a concept. It was up and coming, and yet he took this route. So we spotlighted him, and there are several other entrepreneurs that say these things. And for you, in your innocence, you're just doing your job. You're just getting their story out there. And yet when you meet them, they speak very highly of you. Yeah, so impact stories, storytelling have the power to change community, have the power to change individuals, but also have the power to scale the growth of the entrepreneur you're serving, but also your own self. You'll get into, your name will be mentioned in rooms you never dreamed of just because you helped one single person tell their story. And how do you tell a story? That's also a good thing. How do you tell a story? When you go, we often write, it's good to have a set of questions, but when you go to seek someone's story, listen to them. What do they have to say in their own words? Do not tell a story for them. You get, yes, you have a direction, you have to drive, you want to drive towards to, you have to fulfill a campaign goal and all of that. But often, 80% of your video should highlight the entrepreneur's story. I came from rags to riches. This is how I did it. You get, and as a communications person, you're telling this story, you amplify stories, you amplify impact, but you always must understand the entrepreneur. The story is the entrepreneurs. Your company just what they did was to inject, they boosted them. They didn't make them.
They gave them a platform.
Thank you. They didn't make them. The entrepreneur always had this. You get the entrepreneur, businesswoman, whichever story you're going to tell. The child is already in school. Now you're amplifying their voice through your video. You get, so in development communications, we often have that thing of owning. Oh, I did this. No, you didn't. They're already doing it. You just amplified their impact.
Yeah. It's what is it called? There's a word they use for it. It's like stimulating. It's some people say it's catalyzing.
Oh yes, catalyst.
Yes, catalyzing. So in this journey as a storyteller for change, making use of strategic communications, what is the hardest lesson you've learned?
Okay. Hardest lesson is no one cares until you show them.
Please say that again.
Yeah, no one will care for your communications until you show them the power of your communications. Communications is very...
Listen, Cynthia, I actually want you to say that again.
The hardest thing I've learned as a strategic communicator is that no one cares for your communications until you show them the value of your communications.
Explain that. Why?
Yeah.
How do we show people? How does the communicator out there, how should they show the value of their communications?
Showing can be equated to visibility. Yeah. Impact communications is really showing people that this is the situation before our intervention came in, and now that this is the situation after. You get, program people do so many things in the background. Now your role is to come and say, we're taking these things from the back to the front. How? We are utilizing all these channels. You get, we are utilizing paid channels. Paid channels can be TV, radio, newspaper. And now we are utilizing earned channels, or personal assets can be social media, what else? Newsletters, articles, every week.
Influencers.
Yes. How do you show people? Every week, give yourself a metric and say, every week we are going to have 5 posts going out on our social media pages about what we do. Every week we'll have an article going out about what we do. You get about what we've done in community X for a person Y, whatever. You may not have money to shoot a video. That's fine. How can you piece it up? We now have tools. I'm honestly a late bloomer when it comes to TikTok. You get
Same.
And yet I've seen the impact that TikTok has.
It
does have amplification power. You could open a TikTok channel and with TikTok it requires consistency. You have to, if you decide that I've opened the channel today and it's going to be talking about Salvage Podcast, people want to see an episode or a snippet, a clip, go out every day. Because for it's a rabbit hole. The longest people can stay watching your video is 2 minutes, unless you're talking Lugambo, controversial things. You're breaking some news about a couple,
they'll stay longer.
Very dramatic.
Yes.
But if you're doing development communications work, the longer, the maximum amount of time a person will give you is a minute, maximum 2. So what can you tell people about what you do in just a minute? So that you convert them. We've had videos that we posted about the branch. At the Flourish Hub, we hold a Flourishing Woman branch every year where we have women from different walks of life that aspire to become the next Oprah, the next Emma Grade, the next Sylvia Mulinge, come into the room to learn from these people, these women that have made it. Now, we definitely have people that are shooting videos, documenting interactions, whatever. We compile that into a short form video that we put out on our channels. Yeah. So you now see that brands have started to show the rags to riches story, even on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you're consistent, the more you grow your following, the more you're able to convert people, the more you're able to build their trust in you.
Yeah. So basically, Cynthia says we need to make use of low-hanging fruits.
Yeah.
Let's use the social media platforms. You don't have a budget? Don't fret. Use the free social media such as TikTok, which is going to run your content and show it to a number of people in a very short time.
Yeah.
So Cynthia, if you could tell a young communicator one thing, you've told them about, no one cares until you show them. But what is that one thing that you tell a young communicator joining the profession? What is that one thing you tell them?
The thing I would tell a young communicator seeking to join communications is for them to be open to be mentored. Be open to learn. Throughout my journey, I told you I didn't do communications. It's until later that I now decided to go to Aga Khan University and get a degree, yeah? But no, actually a certificate. And I've not applied for a job. I think I should mention that here.
Please do.
I've not applied for a job. I've often been poached or offered.
Headhunted, yes.
Yeah, headhunted. That's a good word. Headhunted for the roles that I've had. You get why? Value. But how did I get to that value? I grew with mentorship. I've mentioned the different people that I had along the way. Even now with Flourish Hub, I didn't just wake up and say, I'm going to start Flourish Hub. No, I've had 2 mentors who are leading Innovation Hub that one of them led me into the sector. The second one showed me how do you build strategies? How do you work with programs? How do you secure programs? By the way, with the second innovation leader, we were like this. And for a communications person, you have to be like this. Look at the trailblazer in your company, the decision maker in your company, and tie yourself to them like this. You will fall out. The relationship will end. And by relationship, I don't mean romantic. I mean professional relationship. Build a professional relationship with them where you are easily mentored, where they can easily show you how to get things done, how to navigate things.
Where they can vouch for you.
Where they can vouch for you. Where they can speak about you in a room.
Where you're not.
And tell people about your new biggest thing. Okay? So for a new young communicator, honestly give yourself to learning. I know in this day and age, we want to feel like we can all do it. No, you can't. You have people that have been there before you, learn from them. But then also with social media, the digital age has made things easy. Anything you want is now out there. And now with ChatGPT, guys, I have a hate relationship with ChatGPT.
Hey, why?
Why? As a person who likes struggle,
Oh, Cynthia
like
lives for struggle.
and by struggle, I mean the beautiful struggle. I love going to a library and looking through the stashes of books, the different aisles, to just pick out that one book. You get? And not just to have to look for it on PDF reader and find it.
Yes.
Where's
Do
the
you remember
beauty?
the struggle of writing a story and then you have to go through this and then this and then just this one source is giving you just this much.
Exactly, this
in
much.
a story. And then you have to scroll them.
I honestly still use Google a lot because it helps me tinker around what other people have said, their thought
What other
processes.
sources you can add
So
to your
I
story.
worry for this generation of communicators. AI is good. It's a good tool to learn how to get things done. You get right now, even if you don't know a certain skill set, you'll easily learn about it either on YouTube, on Google, or now even more easily with ChatGPT AI. But for communicators, do not, what's the word? What do I want to say? I want to say that stick to the traditional way of doing.
Especially one who is
Communications.
starting.
Yeah.
Train your brain.
Yeah. Train your brain. Because now this tool has made it easy, but now people are now finding out that it's really the same thing. You will Google that. You've seen now wait, tomorrow is Independence. Look out for the messages that are going to be posted.
Same.
You get, and you will quickly see that this one was picked from ChatGPT to the post. You get. So as how do you even that's one way as a communicator you can stand out. You get. Say, okay, I'm just going to use ChatGPT for whatever reason, but do not rely heavily on it. Stay on the traditional path. It's addictive. Stay on the traditional path where you feed your wonder. You check out other resources, what people are saying. That's how you also grow as a thought leader.
Yeah. And I think it's not bad to use AI.
It's not,
especially ChatGPT.
Yes.
But I think let's use it to polish your the thing that you've already written. So I think that's a really good idea. So Cynthia, as we wrap up, tell me about your transition from being an employee somewhere and then you starting up this Flourish Hub. Is it something you've always dreamed of? How did you now say I quit? And I remember that night.
Yeah.
So clearly, we were in a COP meeting, and they hit that glass. Ta-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then everybody, attention to Cynthia. We have an announcement. And then you told us, well, I'm leaving. Tell me about that.
We are human with a body, soul, and spirit. You'll often know when a season has come to an end. And when you overstay your season, you will start to struggle. Yeah. It's something that I've seen across all the different places where I have overstayed when I knew that my season here has ended.
So overstaying looks like what? Does it have a number?
Overstaying? No, it doesn't have a number. It doesn't have a number. And it's for some people that have overstayed, you've often come to that point where you know you need to move. But fear will hold you back because you will think of, I have a family to feed, I have rent to pay, I have school fees to pay, all these things, yeah? You will often think about all those things. But it's riskier for you to stay because the more you stay in a place, the more you forsake your dreams, the more you forsake your potential, the more you forsake all of the things that the world needs to experience of you. That's why I was reading a book and it was saying that the graveyard cemetery is the richest place in the world because there's so many people that are buried with their unfulfilled dreams. Yeah. So is it easy to start? No. You will doubt yourself. You will get all these reasons as to why you can't. You've come from a salary of 5 million per month. And now here you are, you have to figure it out.
Uncertainty.
You get NSSF has paid a 13.2
Interest.
And like, if I was still in the job,
I would have accumulated this much.
I would have had like a good 4 million, or I don't know, whatever amount. And now here you are having to navigate on your own. So is it easy to start over? No, but it's necessary. Like I mentioned earlier on, you never know how much you've grown until you move. And that moving can mean that you move to start your own thing, that you move to a new place of work, a new company, that you move and just rest your mind. You get? Because we are human, we need to rest and recharge. Flourish Hub has been there for 2 years before this year. This year we formally registered. But Flourish Hub before has been there for 2 years. Now, why I started Flourish Hub is because I hit a slump. I felt like, okay, I've gotten everything, but I felt boxed in. Yeah, I felt that, oh my God, I can no longer stretch.
You're not
I no longer
stretching
have
your
a
arms and
challenge.
legs.
Yes, I no longer have a challenge anymore.
Yes.
And so I prayed, and God sort of showed me that I had already written this concept down, even ran it by a friend. You get, it was supposed to be corporate woman branch. And then in this moment when I felt that I was boxed in and I prayed, I got reminded, and I had to rename it as Flourishing Woman Branch. You get, organizing that thing was a challenge.
And you're doing a good job, Cynthia. I've seen it around. You are doing such a good
Thank
job.
you, Edwina. Thank you. Organizing that first event was a challenge, but it recharged me. It brought me back to life. It sort of felt like a resuscitation. You get back to life. And that's what often it feels like. You get, when you now move, the same energy you feel when you get an offer letter and you get to move into a new company. You feel like, now I'm going to do big. Organizing that first Flourishing Woman branch, I had 16 women. Majority of them my friends. But at least I had 16 women.
But that's a lot.
Yeah.
For someone starting.
Yeah. And the event is 100,000. Not everyone paid 100,000. But I had 16 women. In fact, I even footed some of the bills. When you're starting out as a founder, when you make the decision, some of the heavy costs will be on you.
That's true.
But that's sort of like a wilderness experience. You have to invest into what you're building. Otherwise, who else is going to do it for you? If you've never invested in your own thing, who do you think is going to carry that burden for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
How is it going now?
We are flourishing. We are flourishing just like our name. We are 1 year in. We have 3 partners. We are on 2 programs.
Wow.
We've reached out to 3,000 women. Right?
Cynthia already?
I'm not playing. I have a team of 6 people. No, 4 people, and they're on a salary. And my first employee made a year.
Wow. Listen, that's good.
That's amazing.
Yes.
We've gotten into now rooms with ESOs that have been here for a longer time. You get?
But that's from your networks that you created during your career.
No.
Yeah.
This is an application was put out, and I applied on behalf of Flourish Hub. Guess what? We got in there with other 9 ESOs that have been there longer than Baby Flourish Hub. But you know what that means? It's a stamp on where we are going.
Yes.
It's an affirmation that whatever we're doing, whatever we are on to, has a future.
And there's people who believe in what your goal is.
Yes.
And what you believe
Yes. There are days you will think of circling back.
Yes.
Because the other life is easier.
It's easier.
You just have to clock in, do what you do, and then at the end of the month, you have a paycheck.
Work sometimes and other times not.
You have days off, you have sick leave, you have all of that. But now that I know the challenge, now that I know that I am building the same way Steve Jobs started and Warren Buffett, all these guys started. The idea started with just one person. Even these companies we work
Mark
with.
Zuckerberg, all of them.
All of them. It just started with one person.
Jeff Bezos.
Guess where they are? So guys, let me tell you, by the way, if you have my number, hold on to it, because one of these days, I will be unreachable. You'll be speaking to my PA. So call me whenever you can.
Call her now. Use her now.
Yeah, use me while you still have access. Because I love bodyguards. Sweet, Willy.
Like, hello. Can I please speak with Cynthia?
She's involved now, sorry. Or she's away on a trip to the Maldives.
So, Cynthia, I meant to fire you. Just 3 things as we wrap up.
Yeah.
I meant to say a sentence and then you complete it.
Okay.
If I had to say one thing to my younger self, it would be?
You're a powerhouse. You're a phoenix. Oh my God, so many things. You're beautiful. You're deserving. And my younger self being me?
Yes, you.
Yeah.
Your younger self.
Yeah. You're a powerhouse. You're the next. I can't. Maybe let's keep it at powerhouse.
Okay. If there is one thing I would change about my past endeavors, it would be?
Waiting for the validation of other people.
Oh my God. Can we just wrap it up there?
Don't cry. Do you want tissue?
Because that's a huge one. Please say it again.
Okay,
say it again for the people at the back.
I feel emotional, but stop waiting for other people to validate you. Yeah? Validate yourself. Oh my God.
This is what I would say to a young communicator that looks up to me. Cynthia, you have many people who look up to you. What would you say to them?
Wow. I like reassuring people that look up to me. You're on the right path. You're doing amazing. You're deserving of this opportunity and the opportunities that are yet to come. Yeah.
If I were looking for mentorship in a direction, where would you point me?
Where would I point you for mentorship? It definitely has to be... Okay, find 5 women that you look up to, local, global, whichever. Emulate them. If you have to copy how they speak, if you have to copy how they dress up, if you have to copy how they walk, do it. So find 5 women and watch them.
Okay, and lastly, who do you look up to and why?
I look up to so many people.
Could even be yourself, your future self, because are you not scared of her? You're a powerhouse.
Yeah. I'm a powerhouse. That's a good one. That's a good train of thought. I've never thought of looking up to my higher self.
I mean, there's a saying that if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough.
Yeah. You're preaching, girl. Go on.
They're not big enough.
Who do I look? Okay, wow. Maybe my mom inspires me. My mom. She's late now, but that woman had strength.
Yeah. She left you enough for you to look up to and for you to keep referring to.
Yeah. But then also there's so many women. Indra Noy, her calmness. I know she's such a powerhouse. Indra Noy is former CEO Pepsi. And then Oprah Winfrey, she has built such a, you get?
An empire. Yes.
An empire. Emma Gred, lately for, I know you love her.
I love her. I love her.
Yeah. Stephen Bartlett, I think I have a crush on him.
By the way, Cynthia just said she's married, guys. She's married.
As in, I cannot hide my eyes.
I hope her husband is seeing this.
Stephen Bartlett, his drive.
Yeah.
And he's such a young person.
He is.
But his drive. I mean, he's as old as... No, hey.
Yo, listen. I watched... He's 33 now?
Yeah. No, I think for me, I won't zero down on one person.
Okay.
I won't zero down on one person, but I also want to mention Humphrey Nabimanya.
Okay.
That man is on some frequency. Let me tell you, Humphrey will flow. He's the embodiment of versatility. I will he started Richer Hand, moved on to Sauti Plus, a media hub, moved on to filmmaking. You get like, he has lived a life of, I am not this one thing. I can become.
And he is innovative.
Yes.
He's a
And I think
trendsetter.
that's who we aspire to be. You get? So I understand when people stay in jobs longer, but that job you've stayed long, have you become? Are you becoming? Or do you want to leave a job at 50 and now struggle to become who you ought to have become longer?
Yeah.
It's meritable that you stay, that you're loyal. But as you build this loyalty, make sure you're not stealing from yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for coming and honoring us at the Salvage Podcast.
Yeah.
This has been a really interesting conversation, and I hope a young person out there has learned a thing or two. Cynthia is a mentor. She says she is reachable. Please reach her when you can't still access her. See you again. Bye.